Welcome back to your barefoot country cook in the kitchen again. Today we're visiting Italy. Do you know what this is? If you don't know what it is, you need to have one if you love pizza. This is a pizza stone. So we're going to have a lot of tomatoes to use. Best tomatoes to use for pizza sauce. Not beef steaks, not your big boys. That's a misnomer. Your tomatoes for a pizza sauce are Roma tomatoes. Some grocery stores or places call them plum tomatoes. Or now I find out they're called pear tomatoes. Probably because maybe plum, not a clue. Now the ingredients. This is supposed to make 3 cups, pint jars. And a pint jar, this will probably do maybe 2 or 3 pizzas. And that's okay because I reuse the jars. All I have to do is buy the lids. So these have already been sterilized. And the canning pot is up there hot and ready to seal these things shut once we get the sauce done. I made some sausage yesterday, and I kept the juices of the sausage in a skillet. Now this is not the skillet on top of my stove with the juices from that sausage in there. To add to it, olive oil. You can use butter. I prefer the olive. It's a healthier version, and it's more Italian. So for the 3 cups recipe, you need, if you're going to use butter, it's 4 tablespoons or 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I did 4. And so the pan, so I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. And the other ingredients that you're going to need is 1/3 cup of tomato paste. That's the equivalent of half of a 6-ounce jar, 1/3 cup. Okay. Then you're also going to need 3/4 cup of yellow onion diced. And when it's diced, it means it's small, cut up pieces. And we're talking little pieces. Okay. That's the onion. There's a gadget. I put it away already, didn't I? Yes, I did. This is the garlic. So it goes inside there, just like that. There's your clove of garlic that you separate from the big piece of garlic. These are all, that's what a clove is. It's one of these pieces. And you take that off of there, but there's a skin on it. There's like an onion, there's a skin on it. That has to come off. I just blade, cutting knife, put it on top, and you smack it with the palm of your hand. When you do that, it forces the meat away from the skin. So now the skin just peels right off. The skin comes right off, just like that. And this is all of the garlic meat. The garlic meat goes into your mincer. It goes in like this. And you just squeeze it. Keep it held shut. So I use my finger. I don't use a knife or spoon. I love the smell of garlic. Garlic's very good for you. You put it in there. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of the garlic on top around the mechanism. So I don't waste any garlic. I stick it back in that little bucket. Put it back in that garlic press, and I'll press it again. I want to get as much of this garlic clove in there as possible.
Let me guess.
Here, hand it here. I got it.
Thank you. I don't want to be on camera.
That's all right. I know you're trying to chill out back there. I'm trying to make about probably about 3 quarts of pizza sauce. It's really good. And when I did that, now I have no big chunks of garlic in there. Just grate it up. Now I smell like no vampires. No vampires allowed. Okay. Yeah. The other ingredients that you need are 1½ teaspoons of dried chopped. If you don't have fresh basil, don't worry. You can get the dried basil leaves and you can crush them up with your knife. The leaf oregano that's really finely chopped up already, just to give more of the oregano flavor. Another spice that I like to put in it is It is in the palm of my hand. There's a teaspoon that I'm going to add in with my oregano. You can do 2 teaspoons of the dried basil leaves. Do spray if you want more of that basil taste. And 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. You're not going to find them in this. I haven't seen them yet where this says chili flakes. And it's already crushed up. So a lot of people will put sugar in their sauce. Yeah, and this is monk fruit. Monk fruit is a natural sweetener. There's stevia, and then there's monk fruit. I prefer monk fruit. It makes a better, more. There's no aftertaste with monk fruit when you put it in there. I will add it to it as it's cooking, cooking through to see if it's too bitey. I will add a teaspoon of the monk fruit and see if that tones it down, because some people don't like the Italian bitey taste. I do. Okay. Blender or a food processor. It's missing the herbs. That's all pizza. So I've heated up the oil. Now I'm going to add the garlic. To toast the garlic. This starts to cook through, and you start smelling that beautiful scent, and you're going to stir it as you're toasting it. That's 45 seconds, and that's it. 30 to 45 seconds. Then you add the onions. You add the onions, and you let those cook until it's younger. And what it means is when you add the salt to the onions and the oil and the garlic, what the onions start to do is they literally start to sweat. The juices flow out of the onion, and that's when they become translucent, where they kind of look see-through. So I'm using a red onion. It says use yellow onion in most recipes. Yellow onions and red onions are better for you also. There's some kind of extra. I've got my oil heated. I'm going to put my garlic in here and toast it a little bit at a time. Watching my watch here, 30 to 45 seconds for that to toast. And I don't have it, I just don't even have it on medium. Yeah, what the garlic does, it turns a golden color. I'll try to show you the color of this stuff without burning it. Okay. Okay, it's been 20 seconds. I don't know if you can see, it starts to turn a golden color. That's the garlic. Okay. It's not burnt. If it was burnt, it would turn black. And then, plus I have the juices from that sausage. Remember I told you about? I'm going to add the onions. Since I doubled my recipe, it's possible that when I go to put the sauce in, this only takes about a minute or so for those onions to get. I think they recommend yellow onions because translucent yellow onions, it's easier to see that they're translucent. But all you have to do is look at the white part of the red onion, then you can tell. Perfect. I don't want to burn the garlic. Adding all the other ingredients will keep the garlic from burning. Also, it is. And now we get to add the tomatoes. So we'll put that aside. And just kind of stir it through there. And as I feared, this pan is not going to be deep enough. Grab out the big pie, the big pan. It's done in here. Just like this. I'm going to switch that camera around here in a second so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Over here. Oh, pureed tomatoes, I guess I should call it. It fills this pan up. Now, I think I don't have to add anything else to this, really, because this pan is full. It is very full. I gotta watch my heat. If I turn the heat up too high, it will bubble over. So I'm gonna switch this over this way for you. You can actually see my herbs, the oregano, the pepper flakes, and the basil, and that goes in there. The ideal way to do this into every bit of that sauce. And it's a good thing it's just a little bit. That would cause an issue. Now, it's 1/3 of a cup of the tomato paste. But if you like a thinner sauce, do a little less. Take out a teaspoon from that 1/3 of a cup. Now this is, oh my goodness, that is, yeah, I'm not putting any monk fruit in there to tone it down. This is perfect. Cook more. I'm going to add my tomato paste. I need that little spoon to do that. I had a scooping spoon. There it is. And or maybe split this into 2 pots, which is actually what I think I'm going to do. I've got a small one and a big one, and I can split it in half. If I can find it. Down here. Nope, I put them in the other cabinet. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take a portion of it and put it into this. Move my ingredients out of the way. And then I'm going to just scoop some of this into the smaller pan and keep it warmed up as well. So, we need a ladle. This big ladle. Okay. I'm just going to transfer some of it to the smaller pan. So this one not so full. A thicker sauce you can use on lots of things. If you decide when you go to put it on your pizza that you make, you want it thin down, just add a little bit of water, just a little bit, like a tablespoon at a time, until it gets to the consistency that sticks to your pizza crust really well. This is a gluten-free pizza sauce for a gluten-free pizza. You have made your gluten-free pizza crust already, right? You haven't? I thought I was going to have enough time to go going back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to can these up. And I'm going to show you. The canning method is so that this will last for months. When you put it in the jar, just like this, in the refrigerator, it'll last for, let me think. It usually lasts for about 2 weeks or so. But if you can it, you're vacuum sealing it, and it will last for 6 months in a can. I mean, in the jar, or longer. If you've got a good seal, sometimes it lasts longer. And when you can, instead of marinate for about a month, when you go to open that pizza sauce to use it, oh, the flavors are just like, I've got a sauce back there. It's doing its little starting to bubble thing, because that's what I'm doing. I'm heating it up with all the herbs until it starts to bubble. When it does that, then I know I can put it in the jars, put it in the canning pot lid. I don't know if it's got lost in the move to here or what the deal is, but it's MIA. And this is now a real nice, thick pizza sauce. It is really, really got some body to it. And it smells absolutely beautiful. So I know that it was borderline, it was like right on the top. So I can add the two together. So I have all the ingredients together, and I'm going to immediately start putting it into the jars. Use this big pan here. Just making sure that the, what do you call it? Tomato paste has totally dissolved out into it, melted into it. Mill rack. You put your jars and your canning lids and rings in there with them. You bring that to a boil. You let them boil for 20 minutes, and then you keep your water hot, not hot. Do not make the mistake. I'm putting it to the top. You want it you want it literally right under this ridge of your canning jar, which is about a ½ inch. So you want a ½ inch from the top. And this does get messy. You can put it through a funnel, but my funnel doesn't have a very big opening at the bottom. So I'm going to do it this way, and then I'll get off. So that's why I have a towel that sits there. You do not tighten it all the way. You just put it on until it's snug. That's it. You do it for each one. It will seal very quickly. I've had them seal while as soon as I put it in there sometimes. It's not loose. It's just where it's on there. You need a towel, paper towel, to wipe these off as a this size jar so that it's at least a ½ inch above the top. A little bit of water above the top forces the vacuum effect. This is going to do probably four or 5 jars. If you put too much, there's not enough room for it to vacuum seal. There has to be enough room for that. Now, since I haven't, I got probably one more, maybe 2. Okay. So this would make, no, this is right, 2, 4, 6. So this is actually making 8 cups instead of 3 because I doubled it. Okay. Yep. And there's a little bit left in the bottom, and I'm going to sit that in a dish in the fridge to test out on a mini or not is, I'm going to put my timer on for 20 minutes. Hit that. 20 minutes, I'll bring them up, sit them on the counter on this little metal rack over here, and usually within, the trick to it is you have a pizza stone. You heat your oven up to make active dry yeast, a packet of active dry yeast, and it's what I do is I put it in the microwave and I put it on for 2 minutes because 2 minutes in a microwave brings your water to just boiling temperature, which is 230. So by the time I get everything else together, my water in a bowl. When that active dry yeast starts to react to the warmth, it starts to bubble. So when it's bubbling, that's when you add 3 cups of gluten-free flour and an egg, a whipped up egg. You whip the egg up ahead of time, and you add those to it, and you stir that stuff around. Instead, you cook it twice, 2 times. You've got your pizza stone in the oven already, and you're going to have it in there for at least 15 minutes at 450 degrees. And then when you're it out and you roll it out nice and thin, there's also baking soda in there, I believe. I think it's a teaspoon of baking soda. And you roll it out, and I rolled mine out too thick, so I ended up with a really chunky, puffed up dough. So in order to get a nice size, like a 14-inch one, you want to roll it out thinner. Then you take that dough, and the trick to getting your dough onto the, or better thing to have, is a silicone rolling pin. Take that gluten-free flour, layer it on there, just kind of pat it on there, lay it down on your dough, and roll it onto the rolling pin to your pizza stone. Okay, but I will show you that on the next video where I actually make my pizza dough without burning myself this time. I burned my arm that last time, but that's because I was in a hurry and I was excited. So this is the best all-natural the skinless pear tomatoes, as they call them, was a 6-pound can. It was an industrial size. And pizza sauce. which I'm probably going to use the rest of it for doing marinara. Welcome to Italy. Pizza sauce that I make, I add the thyme in there because it just gives it a really good punch, along with the red pepper. If you do 28 ounces of the tomatoes, it says it makes 3 cups, and 3 cups would be like 2 of those jars, 2 pint jars. And depending on how many people are in your family or how many pizzas you want to make, that's probably perfect. And then that way, overnight, those same herbs will be able to marinate into your sauce. I just like it marinated over like a few weeks. We set it aside, and when we opened it up, oh, the flavor. So this has been your Barefoot Country Cook. I hope you enjoy my videos. I hope you have tried some of the things that I cook. If you do, please leave me a comment and definitely one of those thumbs up. Keep me cooking because I love cooking for y'all. I don't cook for me. When I'm cooking for you because amazingly, when you start eating healthy, how much better you feel. And I cut out gluten and sauce. And as soon as that little buzzer goes off, I'm going to take them out and let them go pop up. And then probably just for you. And I put some sauce aside to do it. Because I love you guys. I love that you're watching. Please subscribe. Tell all your friends. Share these videos. I want to keep cooking for everybody out there who thinks that gluten-free is like, eh. It's not yucky. It's the best thing for you, especially if you have sugar problems, like sugar level, and things like that. If you're battling with like borderline, like diabetes for people, anything. I just loved cooking for y'all. And remember, for some reason, I'm in this kitchen always barefoot. And that's why I'm your Barefoot Country Cook. Come see me and make this sauce. Pizza's coming next.